What is a credit freeze and how do you apply for one? Hi, I'm Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm an Atlanta area personal bankruptcy attorney, and I'd like to talk to you today about freezing your credit, why you should do that, when you shouldn't do it, and how it all works. And you see on this website, on this page here, and I'll link to it in the notes below on YouTube, I have links to all three credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, with information about how to request a credit freeze. Now, what is a credit freeze? Basically, it's where you tell the credit bureau to lock your credit down so that nobody can apply, you or anybody else can apply for new credit using your credit report. Now, the way credit works is companies, let's say a credit card company, if they want to give you a new card, they will check your credit bureau file to see whether you are credit worthy. Have you made your payments on time? What is your credit score? Credit freeze basically blocks that. So any member of the credit bureau, a credit card company, let's say Chase or Citibank or Discover, American Express, they will not be able to access your credit. Therefore, they will not give you credit. They will not give you a credit card in your name. And obviously, the reason this is important is if somebody steals your identity and they apply for credit in your name, but they have the information, the card and so forth sent to a different address, you could have your identity stolen and somebody rack up thousands or tens of thousands of dollars of debt under your name. You wouldn't even know it until the bills start to come in or until you start having collection efforts or lawsuits against you, and then you've got to deal with all the repercussions of trying to prove this was not you. And this happens all the time. And the reason it happens is that big companies, whether it's credit card companies or retailers or even utilities or hospitals, they get hacked. Information, your social security number, your date of birth, other identifying information gets stolen, it's sold, and then hackers go ahead and create credit in your name. Now recently, and I'm recording this in September of 2017, Equifax, which is one of the three big credit bureaus based here in Atlanta, was hacked, which is unbelievable that a credit bureau of all places would be hacked. And this happened, I think, a month or maybe 2 months ago, and tens of thousands of records were stolen. And so a lot of people, and there's a utility they have on their site, you can see whether you were affected. I personally was. Your information was stolen. And so that information is out there for anybody who wants to buy it and apply for credit. And really what's even worse is that the person who stole the information may not use it right away. They may sit on it for 4 or 5 years. And you may think nothing's going on. And then 5 years from now, somebody starts accessing your credit, creating all kind of new credit accounts in your name, mortgages, it can be really anything. That's obviously a big, big problem. So a credit freeze will stop that from happening. The downside to a credit freeze is that if you need to obtain new credit for a house, a mortgage, or credit card, you can't do it unless you unfreeze your credit. And the way it's supposed to work is it's $3 to freeze it and $3 to unfreeze it. You can unfreeze it for a couple of days, get the new credit, and then freeze it again. But it's a bit of a pain to do it. Now, I went through the process with Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion for myself and for my wife. With Equifax, I was able to get the credit freeze set up online. I went to their website, and again, the links are below. And I went to the website, paid the $3, got my credit frozen. Tried to do it for my wife, would not let me do it online. Really pretty much the same time. I don't know why it wouldn't let her do it online, just wouldn't do it. Experian has an online system, wouldn't let me do it online at all for either myself or for my wife. So we had to mail in the request for a credit freeze along with a check for $3. Very, very cumbersome. TransUnion, I was able to do it. I tried to do it online, didn't work, but they gave a phone number. I called the number, went through a fairly easy set of voice prompts, and was able to get my credit frozen. They didn't charge me anything. Was doing the same thing with my wife, and they said, that'll be $3, please. So we were trying to pull the credit card out. It timed us out because we didn't get the credit card information in quick enough. Then when I went back in to try to redo it over the phone, it wouldn't let us in. It says you've got to do it in writing. So the bottom line is that the system for getting your credit freeze is very cumbersome. It doesn't work easy. It's not user-friendly. Some of the credit bureaus, Experian makes you write in for it. TransUnion will sometimes make you write in. Equifax sometimes makes you write in. But it's worth the hassle, I would tell you. But it's not easy or pain-free because, again, you got to do this in writing. You got to give them information. You got to send it in, hope they receive it, and send back a confirmation that your credit credit is frozen. And of course, in the meantime, your credit's not frozen and terrible things can happen. And I imagine that if you need to unfreeze it, you're going to go through the same process, whether that means doing it online and hoping it works or doing it by mail. So that means you got to allow for extra time if you need to buy a house or a car, which again, as we all know, you need to buy a car because your car broke down. You may not have a week to wait for your credit to be unfrozen. So the system has certainly got a lot of glitches in it. And let me just say one final thing about freezing your credit. This simply stops an identity thief from using your information. Doesn't stop identity theft. Somebody steals your identity, they can still do other things with it. There are many creditors who don't require credit reporting confirmation. They're not members of Equifax or Experian or TransUnion. So having your identity stolen can be a big problem regardless, but a credit freeze doesn't stop it. It just puts a roadblock in probably about 80% of what a identity theft would use your credit information for. So it's still worthwhile to watch your credit. You want to be careful. There's a number of different programs. I personally use LifeLock. I don't know if it's worth it. I've not had any problems with it, but there are a lot of programs out there that are probably cheaper than that. Or you could simply request a copy of your credit report a couple times a year. I think in Georgia you can get it at least 2 times a year for free, where you just keep an eye on it. And some of the credit bureaus have credit monitoring services where they will let you know if somebody's trying to apply for credit. But bottom line is that your best defense is to use your own brain and your own pair of eyes and keep an eye on what's going on. If you get the sense something may not be right, you need to act on it. And if your identity is stolen, you need to get a police report and go through the whole rigmarole, but it can be a major pain in the rear end to try to convince a bunch of creditors that in fact that was not you. So big picture, my experience with the credit freeze process was not smooth at all. It's still worthwhile doing, but be prepared to spend some time with it. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give this a thumbs up on YouTube, like it on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube and our Facebook page, YouTube channel, Facebook page. And if you haven't already done so, go to my website. I'm at atlanta-bankruptcy.com, and you can download a copy of my Debt Destroyer Survival Kit. It's got a lot of insider secrets, good information about avoiding bankruptcy, about dealing with debt and so forth. And there's no cost to it at all. It's delivered by email. And I think you'll find it useful. I do update it periodically, and I've tried to put some good information in there, again, to help you be an informed consumer. So again, my name is Jonathan Ginsberg. Again, I hope you find this useful. Any questions, please reach out to me directly. And until next time, I wish you all the best. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan, and I hope you found this video helpful. I'd like to invite you to download my free Debt Destroyer Survival Kit right now. I've packed my survival kit with answers to the questions I've heard from clients for over 25 years here in the Atlanta area. Inside the survival kit, you'll find clear, easy to understand answers to critical topics about how to solve debt problems once and for all, including how do I protect my stuff, my house, car, and personal property if I file for bankruptcy? Are there any legitimate alternatives to bankruptcy? Will I ever get credit again, and if so, when? What mistakes must I avoid to get the most benefit out of bankruptcy? You can claim your copy right now by visiting my atlanta-bankruptcy.com website. And you are always welcome to use the email form on my website to ask me anything about debt and personal bankruptcy in Atlanta. www.atlanta-bankruptcy.com. And as always, I wish you the best.